We're back with another video. In today's episode, we have the 344,000 mile E39 M5. We have the typical E39 issue where this hood cable is completely snapped right where it actually plugs into the little handle. I have this one from the junkyard, which was in actually pretty good condition. So I need to take apart this little rubber grommet because we still have the one in my M5. So I'm gonna go ahead and start taking apart the M5 and we're gonna get it prepped so that way this cable can just slide right in. Got our bolts, we got the hood latch cable, and let's go ahead and disassemble the M5 now. Luckily, I had faced this issue a few weeks ago and had already taken out the kick plate, the under tray, taken off the handle, and you can see that this cord is completely frayed apart and just obliterated. So I'm gonna use my trusty vice grips to pull that open, and we'll get the hood popped just by grabbing this with these vice grips and tugging on this cord, hopefully enough to get that to pop the hood. Little advice is to take this and kind of twist it so it's a little stronger depending on how much you have left, and give it a good pull. Sometimes it's a little bit of a pain, but that should be enough to actually pop the hood. If you come around to the front, there we go, that's enough to pop it, and now we are in business. So we just had to disassemble this, which is probably the simplest thing to do, and literally it's just in this little junction box. We're gonna pull this open and get some of this stuff out the way. Let me close the door because we're in the street. I could literally film and still do this. So literally just pull this little plastic cover off. This is for your cabin air filter. You're gonna undo these tiny little clips. You can get the last one. Sometimes you just pull this off. And this literally is just connected like that. And we already have access to the cable. So this is the cable. This is the little grommet that is kind of holding it into the firewall. The cord just leans right up through here, so you can pop this out, just move this to the side, and we have access to the cable here. The cable pops in right here, and this little junction box. Be extremely careful because these are so brittle, and most likely you will break it. So there we go, we popped that out a little bit. Make sure that these are still intact, but I'm gonna need both hands to pop this open because it is extremely sun faded and brittle. Now that you have the junction box open, it is in two pieces. If you're looking at this cable that runs to the front is a completely different cable, and it only is connected into this little junction box. When you pull this cord, it only pulls half of it. So we're gonna go ahead and use a little pick tool and go ahead and take this out and this out, and then it should be basically ready to disassemble. And there you go, literally just snaps out. You want to be extremely careful. It's a little bit tedious and you don't want to break it anymore, but you can pull this, and this is what's actually supposed to pull. So mine feels great, but it ended up snapping anyway, so it doesn't matter. These just get extremely brittle. I don't even know if you can buy these new. I'm assuming you can, but it's just a testament to whether you want to buy new or you want to go to the junkyard, pull one of these out for a few bucks and change it yourself. So now we're going to go ahead and pull this grommet out and get the rest of this cable out of the way. So right here is where the cable is ran. It's strapped straight into this handle, and then if you follow it up, there is that grommet. So one thing that I didn't know is that when I did this the first time, you can just pull this grommet out through this way and pull it into the cabin, and you can actually save this in the metal piece. You have to disassemble it a little more to get this off, but right here it's just, let me use my other hand, it's literally just clipped right in. So if you take this out, kind of a pain, but right there, literally just pull it out because it is like a sort of press and clip. Again, just be extremely careful. Mine's already broken, and I'm assuming yours will be too. So it can't just pop out. It's a little more aggressive than I wanted to be, but it was kind of forced in there. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get that grommet out just by kind of pulling this through. It is just a seal. I'm gonna use both hands, and we're just gonna pull this out through the cabin. Here we are, we have both cables out of the car. Clearly this is the one I pulled out. You can see that I used this vice grip to basically grab onto the cable the same way we did to open the hood, but to fish it all the way through, it's going to take a lot of pressure, but you pull it through. And then once I started getting closer to this, this is the little grommet that seals around the actual firewall. So right here where you see the little line that goes in through the firewall, and this keeps it safe and I guess protected from the weathers, conditions, fumes, whatever you want to say. So now that we have this off, we're gonna go ahead and take this little clip off and get this out of the way. so we can pull this cable the rest of the way through. This just makes it too tight for the cable to actually slide through. So we're gonna go ahead and finish disassembling this. I completely destroyed my old cable in the process of this, but I was able to actually disassemble this properly without breaking stuff. As in, you see in the junkyard, this is what it looks like when you just rip it and you break it straight off of the actual grommet. You're missing the other half of this, and I'm sure you could do this and get away with it. It'd be completely fine. You can do that, honestly, if you just pull, if you do the opposite method where you just yank it through the engine bay and pull it out towards the front of the car, you can just completely snap this and break it. This will be in 2 pieces, and I'm sure you can get away with it with absolutely no problem. But I just want to do this actual right way because it is M5. If you're doing this on a beater 525i, you just need the hood to open, go ahead, just break it. It's not the end of the world. But M5, I just want to keep this as OEM and nice as possible. I messed it up a little bit because this got too far wedged into the little hole and started going into the grommet, so it was way too tight to pull through. Had to get some pliers and some cutters, and I was able to yank this through. And then once that just was the cable through here, I was able to grab the vice grips and just grab it towards the bottom, like grab it right here and push it out and up, and it just came sliding right off. So now I can go ahead and feed this the rest of the way through. I have the new cable fully assembled and prepped. So this is goes to the hood handle. This is what's gonna go in the cabin. The cord comes up. This is the grommet, which I completely saved, and it is in perfect condition. So if you're careful, it's not that hard to save. It's a little more tedious than obviously breaking it, but it's done the right way and it actually will seal. And then here goes to the junction box in the actual hood. So now we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing, except now I'm gonna go ahead and pull this from the handle in the cabin, and I'm going to pull it up into the engine bay, so that way this grommet kind of seals and clicks in the way it should. And then we're going to go ahead and assemble this to the handle and that to the junction box. So here we are in the cabin. That is the little grommet hole. So we're going to take this cord and feed it through, and we're going to fish that up into that little spot. So there, I'm going to go ahead and leave it like that and kind of pull it through, get that grommet in place, get this cord to the proper length so this will match up with the handle, and then I'll come back and give you an update. Super simple. I'm coming back literally like 10 seconds later. Feeding it through, just make sure when you grab it, I hooked mine up to the handle previously. I'll go ahead and show you that real quick just so you understand. I hooked mine up to the handle so that way it's in place. I didn't pull it too far, and now this is in place with the handle. So if I were to put the actual handle onto the little cylinder, whatever you want to call it, if you pull the handle, it would actually start pulling the cable, but it's not fully in place up here. So feeding this grommet through, I pulled on the cord, not the actual cable, because this will slightly move around in the actual sleeve. It literally just snapped directly into place. I pulled on this again and not the actual cord. So I'll pull that into place, and now we're gonna go ahead and put on our little lock ring. We're gonna put this back through. I'm not gonna slide it on exactly, but I'm gonna go ahead and feed it through. So now it's there when we need it. And now this, we're gonna mock up again. So we're gonna put this end into this box, and it's a little bit of a pain. You kind of need to hit it into place a little. I did this last time and it worked. I'm kind of gonna need both hands, I believe. Yeah, I'm gonna need both hands so I can get this properly to lock in, but I'll come back and show you how that looks. We have the cable hooked up into the junction box, and again, I needed to get mine a light little tap to get it to fully seat in there. I just literally took a screwdriver and tapped the butt, and now it's seated in there on both ends. So now we can go ahead and close this box up. We shouldn't be needing this anymore. We could run the line to be safe, but I think it's better to go ahead and test this first before we button everything up. So let me go ahead and grab my handle and let's give this a test pull. 1 or 2 little pulls to get this cord to actually line back up, and it'll basically adjust itself. I'm gonna go ahead and throw mine back into the one little holder, and might as well just do the other one while we're here, just to make this basically complete. Slide that back through. Has its own little grommet where it goes through right there. Fishes that down, and then this is for your hood alarm. So now we can go ahead and hopefully close this, and it should be good. So now it's completely locked, which is what you should be looking for. So now we're gonna go ahead and give this a test pull, and let's see if we are open. Come around here, and we are open and in business. So welcome to the E39 life. Everything was good as you just saw, and it got a little bit funny on me. And if you come in here and look, you might not notice it, but this is completely off the track and this is snapped open. So luckily I have another one right here, and you can see that it is a full housing. There's nothing supposed to be missing. And if you come to mine, well, it's broken and it's missing. So it just worked beautifully. And now, unfortunately, now I have to replace my actual cable holder because that one just completely snapped off. So when looking at this design, it is looking very brittle, especially for being older. So I'm gonna go ahead and change this now out. So lucky me, your car might just be fixed just like that. And mine, welcome to E39 life, now mine is not. So now I gotta go ahead and replace this holder as well. I have the handle fixed, and I actually had to break mine down because my handle from this car was very good condition in the backing plate, and the one I took from the junkyard was snapped because I didn't remove it properly. But my actual cable holder was broken and the one from the junkyard was good. So if you're following, I needed to switch this mechanism to the backing plate to make the perfect one and the actual proper one. And I just kind of figured this out on my own. I didn't look it up. I'm sure I could have and it would have been explainable right away. But there's two ways to go about it. If you have a broken one, it comes with this little locking ring that just clips onto the back right here. It just clips onto the back, and you pop this out, and this will literally just, if you push on it, it'll slide right out. But I want to show you the other way. If yours has this actual piece, and it's actually supposed to have this, so if yours is like this, it's actually not broken. If you take it and if you kind of pry it up, I don't have two hands to show you this, but like I used a pick tool and I kind of just wedged it in here and kind of pried it up a little bit. If you pry it up, this is actually supposed to lift up and spin. So if you were to pry this up right here, you pry this part, damn, sorry, I don't have two hands to do this. If you pry this part up, it'll actually spin up and over this. So lift it up and then spin it up, and it will literally just release itself. Just make sure you pay attention to which way the spring is. And this is super simple to replace. So whether you have a broken holder or the back plate is broken with the clips that hold it into the actual chassis, either way, super simple, super easy fix. You could figure it out too, but just lift up on that and twist it and it's done. So let me reassemble this and let's get this back in actual working order. We're reassembled once again. Hood is closed. Now give it a pop, and we come over here. You could already see it has released and it is solid. So just to make sure, another thing too, when your cable's going out, first telltale sign is your hood won't latch properly. Now it could be either one of these, but usually it is just that cable because it's not releasing properly. So now it locks, it doesn't have an issue. And if we come over here, just to solidify this, pop it again, and we are solid and open. So now I can go ahead and reassemble everything. A couple hours after filming the M5 video, I know it's not the typical style of video, it's more of a how-to or just more informational, I guess, is kind of what the video was. Super in-depth, because when I was looking it up, there are some great videos, E39 source and some other guys film some really good videos, but I just wanted to make my own more updated version. Maybe something was helpful that wasn't in the other video, a little bit different style. If you guys are interested in more how-tos, was something that was desperately needed on the M5. So happy that it's fixed and feels good now. Comment down below, let me know your experience, or if you like that type of video and want more how-to or things that I can be more informational about. We just filmed a video on E92 versus F80. So if you guys are interested in that, stay tuned. That will be coming right after this. So later guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Hope you guys have a good one. Have a good night. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll come back very soon with the next video. Later guys.